The views and opinions expressed by the guests, callers, and hosts on this and all Rense Radio Network programs do not necessarily reflect or agree with those of the network, its commercial sponsors, its radio station affiliates, or Internet broadcast platforms. In these controversial times, we believe the First Amendment and freedom of the press are absolutely essential to the survival of our nation. Thank you. And now, enjoy the program.
Again, it's Friday already. I hope you had a good week. If you didn't, most of us will have a chance to try again next time. We have a very interesting program this evening, as I always try to assemble for, well, my own edification as well as everyone else's. I learn just like you folks do. The first guest is going to talk about something that I think will appeal to an awful lot of you. It appeals to me in a profound way. We've watched over the years the introduction and the proliferation of the liberty-stealing surveillance cams that are everywhere now. In England, I'm going to get the figures. They change so much, but they've got them on the roads, they've got them downtown, they've got them on light poles, they've got them everywhere. They're hidden. They're certainly now being deployed in drones, and in the next 3 years, we're going to have drones with surveillance cams, very high-definition cams, over every urban area in this country. You will have no privacy. Your face will be picked up, recorded digitally, and they'll know where you are. It's disgusting. It's really unconstitutional. And it is something that nothing can be done about. Right? Wrong. You can do something about that now. You actually can go out in public and have every surveillance cam unable to image your face simply by putting on a good-looking cap, like a baseball-style cap. This is a very fascinating invention, creation. They are called Justice Caps. You've heard the ads on the program this week. I'm really proud to have these folks on because of what they've done. They've given us back something that is really, in my view, a God-given right, and that is the right of privacy. So all you have to do is pay attention this hour, go check out the product, and if you want your privacy and your liberty, you can get it just by putting on a cap, at least to the extent you'll be able to decide who sees your face and when in terms of these cams, which again are spreading like an out-of-control cancer all over the country. Our guest is Charlie Bluehawk. He's here to talk about this. Charlie, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How are you this evening?
Good. Violated to one degree or another, like most all Americans. It's an outrageous thing. It's everywhere. All these so-called developed countries of the world now, even the third world countries are putting in surveillance cams. It's the hot ticket. Got to track those people. Got to watch them. Got to catch those terrorists. How many terrorists has the TSA captured? 0. We know the game. Charlie, tell me how you got involved with this, and we'll talk about the product with more specificity right after that.
Well, actually, it's been 42 years in development, I realized the other day.
That's all, huh? 42 years.
Yeah, well, I'm a little slow, you know.
Are you the inventor?
I actually am just the project manager. The fellows I work with, the fellows I work with here in Europe are very, very talented, very gifted fellows. And the fact of the matter is, I happen to, in the States, I grew up, I'm 54 years old now, I grew up with the servants of the masters. So I had a rather unfortunate view of the world. I actually, from my point of view, I grew up with street thugs. I grew up with U.S. Army Air Corps intelligence operatives, CIA agents, CIA assets.
Really?
Iranian drug dealers, Brahmin-class Indian drug dealers. And
there are drug dealers in every country. Drug dealing knows no boundaries.
I tell you, it's an incredible reality of our world. But the top 1,000 corporations today no longer actually count on their products to make money. They count on the drug trafficking and making computers and televisions and shoes is just the cover.
Wow. Well, we could talk about that for a long time, and you raise a very good point. The international drug business is underlying and is the bedrock, the foundation of much global corporatism and capitalism. People just don't understand it.
No, if we stop drug trafficking today, every bank in the world would collapse.
I wouldn't be surprised. Interesting statement.
No, well, like I said, I grew up with this point of view because I was put with this military family, and the military connection. See, most people don't realize at the end of World War II, and these were really old people, at the end of World War II, they had run out of officers to kill. And so basically anybody who could wear pants was made an officer. And the two fellows who were the fronts for the gang that I lived with, and I use the word, term gang loosely.
Understand.
They were they're just thugs. They're street thugs. They're very low mentality. And all of these gangs were actually run by women and fronted by very unintelligent men. I'm trying to be polite.
Interesting.
And the two fellows that fronted this particular gang, I refer to them as the two Homers. They actually looked like Homer Simpson from the television show. And actually, Homer was a lot brighter than they were.
Uh-huh.
And so I met all of these people, and they at the end of World War II, one was a ferry pilot, and the other one was a glider pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And as they came out of the military, they had all of these connections. They personally knew Dwight David Eisenhower. They did favors for him. They laundered money. They trafficked in children. They knew personally multimillionaires who owned, not the people who ran the studios. They knew the people who owned the Hollywood studios. They dealt, in one case, they actually sold a young girl to a Las Vegas headline entertainer. So this is the quality of people we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they were.
Have you written a book on this, Charlie?
I tried that. I actually have tried it a couple of times. Absolutely nobody is interested in hearing about it.
Well, I would excuse me, but I would suggest au contraire, and certainly this audience would be. And if you self-publish it, put it online. You don't have to use your real name. Of course, we might know who it is. Sure. Although I don't think Blue Hawk is your real name, but I'm not going to pry. I would suggest that this is one hell of a story. Now, I'm reminded vaguely of the hustling military guy in Joseph Heller's Catch-22, the procurer. He was always hustling. I've forgotten his name now. But you're taking that image to a level that is so high, I need binoculars to see it. Go ahead.
Well, as I say, I was placed with this military family, and to them, I was a whipped dog. I was a beaten animal. I didn't know which way was up. On my good days, I was a piece of furniture. On my bad days, I was a rag doll, and, if they had frustration, they just would beat the tar out of me.
You had a happy childhood.
Oh, that, my friend, is another long story.
Yeah, I hear that. Listen, the people, my childhood was nothing to write home about. It was not good. But I'll tell you, those who survive tough childhoods usually do very well in later life, unless they've been somehow mentally damaged or demented by the process. But you obviously have done extremely well. I really would encourage you to write this story, but that's just me. We're not here to talk about that, but I won't put that on the table anyhow. Okay.
Well, we got the 5 books. We'll have to talk about that some other time. They're sitting here doing nothing.
The 5 books?
Yeah, I've got 5. I wrote 5 books.
Charlie, we need to talk.
Okay.
We will. We'll talk.
Okay.
Right now we have to talk about doing a little business, and then we'll come right back. The product is Justice Caps, and I think you understand a little bit more about the integrity of this. The project manager, Charlie Bluehawk, is with us, and we're going to develop this a little bit more as we continue. The prevalence of CCTV surveillance cams in England, there's 1.85 million of them now. The average person who goes out and is socially mobile each day is probably imaged hundreds of times. Talk about overkill, or just talk about kill. It's crazy. The cameras in London alone are at least 500,000. It's probably much more than that, but it's growing all the time. Be right back as we continue to present Justice Caps to you. Okay, and I meant what I said just then. Go to the website, justicecaps.com. There's a video there to watch. Caps are right there. This is a terrific product. It's going to really anger the pigs at the top. Oh, I shouldn't insult pigs. All right, Charlie, let's get back to the story. Your project manager, these people are obviously very, very smart. They're in Europe. That's where the project emanated. Tell us more about it.
Well, we got together over a couple of years, and we, of course, exchanged stories. And part of the problem I've had for the last 42 years of trying to talk to people about our masters in the Mandarin class is that it just made people angry in the States.
Right.
And I had no way of conveying to them we need to do something other than let's work together. And the concept apparently of us working together just never hit the right chord, because I just made people mad. Whenever I pointed out, did you see the chemtrails in the sky? I just said, where? I said, above your head. Where?
Yeah.
The checkerboard.
Yeah.
Where? What are you looking at? I'm going, okay. And then the violence would start.
Yep.
But talking to these guys, I realized that we finally had, after 42 years, a viable answer to people. You no longer have to work as a team, which apparently we cannot do. But you can now be an army of one, backed up by 3 million other armies of one. And if, say, for example, you buy a cap for yourself, you buy some for your family, for your friends, you go out as a group. And the key, and this is really, 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 really important. I know this because I was there and I've seen it with my own eyes. I grew up with the servants of the masters. I personally knew 4 mandarins, 3 in California, Southern California, where I'm from, and 1 from South Sudan. And the 3 mandarins I knew, again, is a reflection of the masters. And they know exactly what to do with violence. They know exactly what to do with the threat of violence.
Do they ever?
One thing, oh boy, a think, fly, pile driver, slam. What they cannot deal with, and I will tell you from personal experience, the mandarins, the George Bushes, the Dick Cheneys, they are not human. I don't mean they're little green men. I don't mean they're reptiles. They are literally not human. They deal only with power. And this power is derived from hatred. The more power someone wants over you, the greater their hatred of you is.
Exactly.
And the one thing that I discovered, and I was a whipped dog. I was a beaten animal. I was terrified of everyone and everything. By the age of 5, most of the bones in my body had been broken. So I was on the floor. But what I discovered is defiance. That's why our motto is no violence, defiance. We are not peaceniks. We're not religious. This is reality, and also what we can deal with. I actually stood and defied them. I didn't threaten them. I didn't say no. I stood there and would not move. And the moment I did that, they're not programmed to respond to that. They believe instantaneous obedience is what they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You and I expect to breathe automatically. Our masters expect obedience from us automatically. The moment you defy them, the moment you don't even have to say no, just stand there. Do not comply. it stops them cold. They literally, genetically, don't seem to be able to understand the concept of defiance. They don't know what to do. The best they can do is stop talking, stare at you, and try to walk away with something that they consider to be dignity, and then they never mention it again because it could not, from their point of view, have happened.
They can't process it. Fascinating.
They cannot. And I've done this myself. Didn't mean to, of course, because I was just a whipped dog. I was a beaten animal. I just eventually, a whipped dog will stop and fight back. This is all I had. And I've seen this repeatedly. I saw this with the servants of the servants. I saw it with the 3 mandarins that I knew personally in Southern California.
How highly placed were these people?
Oh, Lord.
Plenty high, huh?
Well, see, the problem with the mandarins is everything is power. It's personal power. There's no such thing as factions or groups that might last more than a day. This is where their plans start, stop, start, stop. Everything is personal power. And they actually believe that power on this earth is finite. They actually believe, well, if I have this much power, that means there's not enough left for you to define me. So everything is power. And it's all based in hatred. They hate us. And the only thing I can equate it to is the hatred between siblings. It's very personal, because if this was simply a power grab for the planet, a real estate scam, they'd have it by now. It'd be done. But they take this time to manipulate power amongst each other. That's why with defiance, and I say, and I cannot stress this enough, no violence. None.
No, that's what they want. They want it.
They want that.
Sure.
See, that they understand. And
that's their language. It's
their language. It's all they know.
Yeah. And they have absolutely no qualms about taking human life. It means nothing to them.
None. No, it's very important to understand that we are less than nothing to them. In fact, I can offer you, sir, the 4th Mandarin that I knew, who did not mean well to me, works with the South Sudanese government in Washington. And he just wanted to contact me because I had some clients who wanted to sell green piping systems. He just wanted to buy $6 million of piping systems so he could get a $500,000 kickback. And he contacted me to make this arrangement, and he was a true Mandarin. He actually put all of his thoughts into email. So I have a complete record of the thought process of a true Mandarin. And this is like, I can't even describe what this is like. Imagine hatred.
Expressed hatred. They're so arrogant, they don't even care. They just put it out there now.
They don't care.
No, they know there's no pushback. They know it's game, set, and match to evil, and they don't have any worry about it. So this guy actually just wrote it all out. He just let it out. That's fascinating. Oh, there's a book in and of itself right there. It's called Evil Defined. What is evil on the planet, and who are these people? And why are they not human? I've been saying for many, many years, they're not human. There's something wrong.
No.
Something's not right. Wow. Charlie, hold on just a minute or two, if you would. We'll come right back. Justice Caps is the theme of this hour, and I think it's best, you could almost call them defiance caps. That's it. And if you look at the page, and I would urge all of you to take a look, justicecaps.com, you'll see the demo. You'll see what the cam sees when the Justice Cap is on. No face. Be right back. All right, when you go to justicecaps.com, there's a 58-second video, and let me play it for you real quick, just to give you an idea of the presentation. It's very well done.
Did you know that every time you leave your home, you are being watched? At JusticeCaps.com, we believe that justice is freedom, and that freedom means living free. There are video cameras on every street corner, and they are all watching you. And with facial recognition software, they know your name. But now imagine, what if you could hide in plain sight? Imagine you can go anywhere you want, do anything you want, with anyone you want, and no banker will ever know your name. At JusticeCaps.com, we give you the ability to hide in plain sight. And no video camera can record your face. For just $14.99, you have rendered the U.S. government's multi-million-dollar facial recognition software useless. So visit us today at JusticeCaps.com. Believe in justice and be free.
All right, no violence, defiance. And let me tell you, this product should be on every free man and free woman's head when they're outside. There are probably now an estimated 30 million surveillance cams here in the U.S. You can multiply that probably by a factor of 3 or 4 every year, maybe even every 6 months. It's a huge industry. This is the only thing that can stop it. If enough people wear these, it will cause them to go into a fit. Charlie, go ahead. This is really, this is a great product.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the thought. The reality is, and again, this is from personal experience, and after decades of this, you learn you can only deal with reality. Fantasy and hope and dreams, you can't have those. You have to deal with only the facts, reality. And the reality is, whoever, or God forbid, whatever our masters are, they are cowards. They are absolute abysmal cowards. As much as they love pain and cruelty and war and the destruction of us, they themselves are physical cowards.
I think didn't Bush 41 kind of let that cat out of the bag when he said something to the effect that if the American people knew what we were really doing, they'd drag us out and hang us from the nearest lamppost. Yes. That was a fear-based statement.
Oh, these people live in fear. They fear each other. They fear us. We actually don't really mean that much to them because, well, if you'd like, like I said, I could send you the South Sudanese Mandarin's emails, and the word arrogance doesn't even begin to cover it. Reading these emails is like being hit in the face with a shovel, and on a good day. But
wow.
The arrogance these people have is stunning. But the fear they have of us, the fear they have of each other, and as I say, it's all personal power. Everything to them is a power game, and it's all based in hatred, all of it. And if you can imagine, my personal goal, as I say, after 42 years of trying to warn people about this, my personal goal is 3 million justice caps on the heads of 3 million Americans. And the effect that would have, imagine Dick Cheney, Henry Kissinger, seeing 3 million blank holes in their camera screens. These big, tough, brave men, you will find them hiding in the corner in the dark room crying. They will be terrified. And that's what we're looking for.
Well, it would be a revolt on a dimension that they hadn't really expected. This is very interesting. Very interesting.
And we're developing new technology all the time. Our next product we'll be talking to you about probably next month.
There are other kinds of apparel that are beginning to kind of sneak around the corner and suggest that they are stealth apparel items. So this is going to be a big field. There was something that you sprayed on your license plate a while back to prevent cams from registering your numbers and letters and so forth. But this is going to be a big. What I would also like to do is invite you back on the program. We'll talk Justice Caps, of course, but to come back on and maybe with no names, we could somehow post some of the emails you're talking about, again with no names, no identification, just to get an idea to share the astounding arrogance, and they hate us. I'd love to see this in print. I'd love it.
They hate us.
Yeah, and if you want to do that, the invitation's out there. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. No, I would be more than happy to share that with you. And frankly, I have nothing to hide. You can use my name. You can use his name. That should delight him no end. I should warn you, though, he is definitely a proven killer.
No, we'll pass. We'll pass.
Yeah, I think that's best. But really, sir, you need to read them yourself. And if I were you, I would read them in the middle of the day when the sun is shining and you have your favorite dog near you and have somebody to go talk to, because these are really hard to read.
I'm very interested. So
okay, I'll send them to your staff as soon as I pull up. The file.
I'll give you my direct email here before we're at some point here soon, and maybe next week you can come back and we'll talk about this further. I'm
more than happy to.
I don't need to identify this person. I just want to see the prose, the text. I want to see how it's stated.
It's not to be believed even today. My friends here and I see what this fellow, of course, in his arrogance didn't realize is that I am, a person of business, so I'm representing two different clients. I copy my clients on all the emails.
Got it.
I was working with 4 different partners, so copies of these emails are in the United States, Africa, Europe, and Asia.
It's called life insurance.
So yes, exactly. At this point in time, they don't frighten me, but honest to goodness, they're just not worth having around, because the 3 mandarins I knew in Southern California, they actually meant well by me. They actually tried to be kind to me. They actually tried to help me. But imagine someone who is viciously, violently insane trying to be nice to you.
Okay, I get the picture. The price on the Justice Cap is $14.95. Is that it? $14.99. Okay.
Yeah, then with the logo, it's $21.99.
Right. You can get a plain black cap. You can get one with the Statue of Liberty on it. And over the face of the Statue of Liberty, it's just a little white light, which is what the cams see. I think this is going to take a lot of folks into a very good place. It's middle finger time to the surveillance state. All right? JusticeCaps.com. Be right back. Okay, and we're back. Again, we're talking about your right to privacy. Hide in plain sight. Tell them where to go. Defiance, not violence. Justice Caps. I am elated about this technology. Just couldn't be happier. The plain cap is $14.99. Come on, that's a gift. You want a logo on it? Good-looking logo, $21.99. Either way, I'd love to see Rense.com on one of your caps.
I would be delighted.
I'm serious.
My people and I would be delighted.
I've been thinking about doing caps for many years, and this is something that would just take our logo and put it right on there in that magenta against the black. It would look terrific. You're making 2 statements then.
Yeah, let's do it. I've actually got you down for our next batch is coming in. I got you down. I'm sending you a cap with a logo. So take a look and see what you think.
Oh, terrific. Well, you can pull it right off my homepage. My webmaster will get it to you. We'll talk again, as I said,
sure,
very soon. And we'll. I would like to have you back next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever fits your schedule, and we'll.
Actually, since I'm in Europe, it's now 5:00 in the morning. So actually, this time is really good for me. So any Friday would be good for me.
Okay, on a Friday.
Friday? Because it's Saturday. Saturday morning here.
All right. How about?
Have to,
All right, we'll do it a week from tonight.
Okay.
Next Friday, the 25th. It'll be 1 hour later than we're on right now, but I'm going to write you right in the schedule right now. Okay, right. Charlie. Let's talk a little bit more about the caps. Lightweight, Black is the primary color, obviously. More products en route. The company is in Czechoslovakia. Order fulfillment occurs where?
Out of China.
Okay, so
we actually tried to do order fulfillment out of Michigan, but we finally realized that with customs and the furor that will happen when 3 million Americans face a camera and have no face, that we would be cut off at the kneecaps. So it really got down to customs issues, getting 1,000 caps over the border as opposed to mailing them one at a time. So we're trying to be very low key until all of a sudden we're there. And that is our goal. 3 million of your listeners. That's why we came to you, because your listeners understand what we're talking about.
Oh, they do.
This is not a discussion that we could just pop on somebody new who woke up this morning and say, "Oh goodness gracious, something's wrong."
No, it's too late for them.
Because they're lost already.
Gone.
It's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this most of my life, and I get hundreds of stories I go through every day from news sources all over the world, and sometimes I'm just going, I can't take it anymore. I can't do it.
Well,
it's too much.
I'm right there with you. I deal with it 7 days a week. However, we won't quit, and neither will you.
No.
And as long as there are people who care and there are people to be educated, we'll be there. This cap then is mailed from China directly to you?
Yes.
The buyer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right.
No, there's no customs issues. No one will notice that you have it until you decide to put it on. And I do have to apologize about one thing. We cannot ship with batteries. I wish we could. We're ready to ship with batteries, but apparently shipping a AAA battery is considered a terrorist threat now.
Oh, no. Jeez. I'm not surprised.
Yes.
All right. So just to be sure, well, listen, pretty soon having a fork at the dinner table will be considered a terrorist threat. We got a AAA battery that tucks up in the cap. It powers the...
Three of them.
Okay. They power what appear to be around 6 LED-type lights at the bill of the cap. 9 of them. I can't quite make it out.
Yeah, we upgraded.
Okay. And the face is just a bright spot.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yes. That's all it is.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, and we're using that same technology in about a dozen other products, which we'd like to talk to you about as we come out. And at a point now, we're having trouble just keeping up with the things we can do with this, both audio and video, because now, of course, they're recording your conversations in buses.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you have technology that can essentially scramble or otherwise compromise the spoken voice of someone to where it's not going to be recordable?
Oh, yeah. That's easy.
Well, I know it's easy, but to bring it out on a consumer basis is not. That's a good trick.
Yeah, we're working on that one. We're working on a few other things. And it gets down to what you said. It's your decision on who sees you.
Which is your God-given right, and I said that before, and
yes.
We've got 30 million cams in this country already. They're talking about putting electronic black boxes in a car, which will record everything you do in that car, the speed, the time, how many times you take that car out, etc. It'll probably record your voice, too, in all spoken conversations in the car. That's coming. And then there'll be a video adjunct to it as well. So you will have no TrapWire. You'll have no privacy, cradle to the grave, none.
Right now, your refrigerator is recording your conversations. So
well,
I've been in the computer business for 30 years, and I know that Carnivore and Predator, somebody are the two major techniques they use to capture emails. Those actually have to be physically installed units at your local ISP. Somebody has to agree to do that.
So you mean an ISP would sell out and compromise all of it? Yeah. Jeez.
Hard to believe.
No, it's sad, Charlie. And let me say one other thing. Greed, power, it certainly trickles down to the common sheep. And they've got a price. Most everyone has a price. And if it isn't a price that can be made adequate enough, then there are threats. It's real simple.
Yeah.
Nothing is left to chance.
I grew up with that. That's all I knew as a child. I didn't know there was anything else. All I knew was I didn't want anyone else to end up like me. I failed. Mm-hmm. I failed completely. Mm-hmm. Every time I talked to someone, just made them mad. I remember sitting in a car. I knew about 9/11, the show that was put on for our benefit, 10 years before it happened. Myself and some very rich people and I'm not rich, some very rich people who lived on the islands off of Seattle. 10 years prior to 9/11, we were told it was Saddam Hussein and missiles. And nobody cared. The rich people, of course, knew better than I did. They knew nobody would listen. And they said to me, Charlie, you take care of it. We're going to get on our private jets and go shopping in Singapore. You go tell the world. I'm going, what? And they could not, of course, at that point in my life, explain to me that nobody would listen. They knew. The day that 9/11 happened, I'm sitting downstairs, I'm watching the TV, and I'd already cried for my city because New York was my city. And so when it happened, I go, it's about time. And I stopped going to New York a few years prior to that because I knew it was almost time. And nobody cared. And so I'm taking this little old lady to the nursery to buy some trees for her backyard. She's maybe 90 years old. She maybe weighed 20 pounds. Wow. And she made the mistake of asking me what I thought. And I told her, I said, the government staged it to take away our rights and to destroy us as a people. And this little 90-year-old woman, while in my truck, while I'm driving her to the nursery, has got her fist clenched in my face and is screaming at the top of her lungs. You know what she screamed at me? I know you're probably right. I cannot allow myself to believe my government would do that to me.
Wow.
And that's what we're facing.
Wow. Well, we have those of you who remember the Bojinka plot, Project Bojinka, which was the actual tactical study of using airliners as missiles to fly into buildings of opportunity. Yeah. That was in the mid-90s. So, yeah, the concept of using planes to do tremendous damage and shock and awe and all that was known, and I'm not surprised you had inkling of 9/11 10 years in advance. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, they've been flying by wire since World War II.
All these planes had remote control.
All of them.
When Dov Zakheim left the Pentagon, if I'm remembering correctly, he joined a firm, or was it Chertoff? One of these guys went right to a firm that had as its primary directive the continually upgrading of remote control software for every jetliner in the sky. So
Yes, Lufthansa bought a lot of American-made planes. The first thing they did is they ripped out the control systems and replaced them.
Yep.
It's known, and this is the first time, as I said, in my entire life that I can actually offer people a solution that they actually fits what they feel they can do, that they can do without saying a word. You don't even have to say no. All you have to do is wear it and turn it on.
One hell of a statement. Go to the site, folks. Let's really support this. I have not been more amazed and encouraged by a product like this in my life. JusticeCaps.com. Defiance, no violence. You make a statement, put a hat on. That's it. And they can all go to hell. All of them. And they are not your friends. And they are led by people who are not people. And
no, they are not human.
Yeah.
I cannot say they're little green men. I cannot say they're reptiles. I never saw that. And God help me, I don't ever want to see that. They're bad enough.
I hear you loud and clear, and many of the people listening are right on board. Charlie, thank you. We'll talk to you next Friday on the 25th. And I'm really grateful for your participation in this program and supporting what we're doing here. We're on the same page, and deadly serious about putting Rense.com on these if you'd like. I think a lot of our folks might pick them up. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's talk.
All right, Charlie. Be well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. That's a very fast and fascinating hour. All right. We will be back in just a few minutes.